Hey students, so just wanted to share with you a quick video about chemical reactions. Okay, so we're going to be doing a little bit of backyard chemistry here in just a second to show you, some of you were curious what would happen if we mixed a strong acid with a strong base. And so we'll be messing with a few different acids and bases that we have in my kitchen. But I just wanted to kind of help you understand some of the things that you'll be able to see, or like some of your senses will pick up on if there's a chemical reaction. So the first thing that could happen is there might be a change in color, which you're going to see when we mix bleach and lemon juice. Another thing that you might see is the formation of bubbles, so like a gas being put off through the reaction. You might see a change in temperature. So sometimes when there's a chemical reaction, the temperature, the energy is given off through a rise in temperature. Another thing that could happen is you could smell an odor that comes off of the chemical reaction. And one of the odors that we're gonna see is bleach. Bleach gives off a really strong odor when it is combined with other things. And then the last thing that you might see is the formation of a precipitate. So basically what that means is two chemicals come together and then there's a solid that's formed inside that solution. So I hope you enjoy our backyard chemistry for today. I did want to see what would happen with lemon juice and a little bit stronger base. So remember, lemon juice is an acid, so I'm going to put the lemon juice in there, and you can see there's kind of a little bit of a yellow tint to it. That's the lemons in it, okay? And I'm going to add a bleach to that, and hopefully you'll be able to see a pretty good chemical reaction happen there. You'll be able to see the colors change, things kind of moving and bubbling around a little bit. And there's a definite smell that comes off of this. Anytime you're looking, checking for a smell with chemicals, especially in like a chemistry classroom, you're going to want to, they call it wafting to whiff. Which basically you move your hand over the container to like move the smell towards you, but it kind of dissipates it a little bit so you're not as likely to burn your nasal passages and your lungs. But you can kind of see like some little bubbles coming down here in the solution. And if I move it around, you can also see that the color changes, and I can definitely smell there's a definite smell coming off of it. So kind of an interesting reaction with a strong base and a strong acid. Okay, so nothing too exciting, but a little bit interesting. So some of you were kind of interested in what would happen if we mixed lemon juice. So I've got my lemon juice here with ammonia, and I couldn't find my regular ammonia, so we're just using glass cleaner. And I'm afraid that you're going to find that it is a little bit uneventful. So we're going to put our glass cleaner into a container here. And I'm outside just in case there's anything, you know, harmful that comes off of it. I don't want to release any weird gases into my house. And then we're going to put some of this lemon juice into it. You'll be able to see a little bit of a chemical reaction just because there's some changes that happen in there. We'll just swirl that around, you know, like it's not a whole lot going on in there, but you can kind of see little bits happening there. So unfortunately, ammonia and lemon juice are surprisingly uneventful. Okay, so the last chemical reaction that I wanted to show you is kind of a strong one. It's one that I use in my house all the time. There's not really any toxic fumes that come off of it. I use it to actually clean my drain. So what we're going to do is we're going to use just some white distilled vinegar. This is about 5% acidity. And this one's kind of a fun one if you ever want to make like just like a little homemade rocket with Alka-Seltzer or baking soda. So when we drop baking soda into the container, you can see a pretty solid reaction happening there. So that's another sign that there's a reaction happening when there's lots of bubbling and movement, lots of energy being given off there. So anyway, lots of fun. I am going to try one more thing. I want to see what baking soda does with lemon juice. So hang tight for that. Okay, so here's our last chemical reaction. Lemon juice with baking soda. So we'll just put a little dab of lemon juice in here. A little spoonful of baking soda. So remember, baking soda is called sodium bicarbonate. This is just some old baking soda that's been hanging out in my laundry room. Oh yeah, pretty good reaction. So if you remember from our notes on acids and bases, sodium bicarbonate is a really good buffer that helps kind of slow down reactions with acids and bases. This one looks like it was almost a better reaction than with our vinegar. So you can see lots and lots of bubbles there. Pretty fun stuff. And this one almost smells sweet when it comes off of there. That vinegar and baking soda did not smell good. It was pretty stinky. But if we waft to whiff, we can see that we can smell that it's actually pretty delicious smelling. Okay, so here's our last example of how how you can know that a chemical reaction has happened. So I've got here some foot warmers that I bought a few years ago. What happens is once you open these and take them out of the packaging, they get exposed to oxygen. And the chemical that's inside this, once it is exposed to oxygen, will start to warm up and give off energy. And if you've ever used like hand warmers, you'll know that they get really warm and they can stay warm for hours, which is really nice. Another way that we can tell that a chemical reaction is happening is if there is light given off. Okay, so heat or light energy. And then the last thing I have here is just some bottle rockets to remind you that that is also a chemical reaction happening within there. So when we burn things, if it's a slow burn or a fast burn, so these two would be a slow burn, this is a fast burn. Anytime something's burning, that's a chemical reaction.